Okay, everybody, this is your hands in what's called C position. You'll notice it's the same stuff we did. We started off with our right hand by itself in one lesson. Then we did the left hand by itself in one lesson. Now we're going to combine the two hands to be on the keyboard at the same time. So that's what your hands look like when your hands are in what's called C position. Your fifth finger is on C in your left hand. Your left hand finger one is on G, and there's one finger on each key between. In the right hand, first finger is on C, your fifth finger is on G, one finger on each key as you build out the shape of the hands. That's it. But I wanted to show you that, and I also wanted to talk about where are these notes located so you get a better understanding of where they are in the realm of the notes. You can see that it's C. This is telling you it's C, but then where are these other notes located and what is their names? So we'll talk about that for a second. Let me set up the side by side. Alrighty, so here is what happens when you're playing a note. For example, this is the note that's on the first line. This is a treble clef right here. Even if it was no clef, let's just say it's no clef for a second. Who cares what clef it is? It's just a note, a position of a note. We don't know if it's treble clef or if it's bass clef. But you always have a first line. This is what the note looks when it's on a first line. This is what the note looks like when it's in the first space. This is what the note looks like when it's on the second line. This is what a note looks like when it's in the second space. This is what a note looks like when it's on the third line. This is what a note looks like when it's in the third space. Here is a note that is on the fourth line. Here is a note that's in the fourth space. And here is a note that's on the fifth line. This note is just above the fifth line, which is also called above the staff. And if I work backwards on the fifth line, oops, all right, hold on. On the fifth line, in the fourth space. On the fourth line, in the third space. On the third line, in the second space. On the second line, in the first space. On the first line, below the first line, but technically in a space. So this is in the space below the first line. So where you are on a clef determines, each clef will give you a note name. So you determine it's all a little system. When I say, hey, it's a treble clef note, treble clef has a system. In that system of treble clef, the note G, which is on the second line, is a note that the clef identifies. This clef swirls around the second line, which makes this note G. This clef, if I erase this circle, the bass clef, if you notice it, the bass clef has these two dots. The two dots are surrounding the fourth line. The bass, so that what happens there is the bass clef is actually what's called F clef, because this note that's on the fourth line, the line that goes between the two dots, is the note F. So this treble clef is called G clef. It gives you one note for free. And this bass clef is called F clef. It gives you the one note, which is F, for free because the fourth line gives you the answer. And then on the G clef, the second line gives you the answer. There's the note on the second line, G. Here's the note on the fourth line for the bass clef, which is F. So now you see the location of it matters. So that's why when you're having a conversation about, well, where is a note located, you can say, this is in the first line. This is on the first line. This is in the first space. This is on the second line, in the second space. On the third line, in the third space. On the fourth line, in the fourth space. On the fifth line, above the staff. And this one's below the staff. When a note is on a line, the line goes through the note. When a note is in a space, the staff lines surround the note. So this note is on a line. This note is in a space because the lines are surrounding the note. On a line, in a space, on a line, in a space, on a line. Technically in a space, but just say above the staff, And for this one, say below the staff. So then you factor in, okay, well, where is, if I'm in bass clef and I'm going to this one over here, this note C, this note C in bass clef is in the second space. This note D in bass clef is on the third line. This note E in bass clef is in the third space. This note F in bass clef is on the second line. This note G in bass clef is in the fourth space. This note A in bass clef is on the fifth line. And then the note B is above that fifth line or above the staff. Now, if you're thinking about, okay, well, what is it for a treble clef? Notice the first note in your treble clef zone or G clef zone is the note C. This note C is below the staff on what's called a ledger line. That's kind of weird. It's on a ledger line below the staff. The first ledger line below the staff. It's on the first ledger line below the staff. This note, the note D, is just below the first line or below the staff. The third note, which is the note E, played by the third finger, is on the first line. This note is in the first space, and it's F. This note is on the second line, and the note that's on the second line is the note that corresponds to G clef, and that's why this note's name is over here is G. Alrighty, so there's only a couple that we didn't fill in. C, D, what's next? F, what's next? A, B. C, what's next? What's next? F, G. Remember the bag technique. What's below? What's above A? B. What's below A? G. What's above, if B is above A, what's above B? C. Remember, you go forward in the alphabet. When you go back, when you go down, you go backwards in the alphabet. So there, help each other with this, and I think you'll have a good time and you'll learn a lot with it. So there it is. So it's C position. Here's where the notes are, and that will help you to complete the word matching game on the other sheet too.